Hey, this is Dan from tinyhouseproject.wordpress.com. We're on day 13. Day 12, it was kind of rainy and we were waiting for the roof to come. But then by the end of the day, I had called him and found out that it wasn't even going to make it. So it's not going to come till Monday. So yesterday was kind of a wasted day. So we didn't really have that much today. It's about noon right now, and I get to go see my wife and a boy who I haven't seen in almost 2 weeks. So we just kind of did a half day today, just so I can go. They're driving down to Kissimmee, Florida, for a vacation with her parents, and so I'm going to drive over there and spend the week with them. But what we did do was I finished up the house wrap. So you saw in the front of the house, we have the house wrap going around it. Also put the water heater in. Not that that was difficult. We just put a couple screws in just to put it in place since it was delivered. We put some of the sills, the window sills in, which are these, just like a house window tape we put in there, just so if any water gets on the sill, it'll run off. After the windows get in, that same tape is put around the sides, and then finally the top. You always work from the bottom up because that way, if water does get behind something, you haven't sealed the bottom of it, so it can still leak out the bottom. You know, you don't want to seal the bottom because then it's more likely that water would get trapped in there. So this morning, my dad also started putting up some of the trim. Without the windows, you wouldn't be able to get too far with the siding because you know, obviously we're going to run into a window really quickly, so he'd only be able to put up a couple sheets. So I think he was just playing around with that. You can see how he's doing it. He actually marked where the slat siding goes. Excuse me, right on here, and then chalked a line for the top of the board, and then that way, and if you chalk a line every couple of boards, you can make sure you stay on track. So that should go up really quickly. We have 8 penny nails, which are 2.5 inch spiral shank nails to nail the siding up on. That 2.5 inch nails are actually a little bit dangerous near the bottom of the below the windows, because we've got the wiring in there, and you don't. Last thing you want to do is drive a nail into the wiring, especially something like that. It would go unnoticed until everything's done and you try to turn on power. And so below the windows, he's actually going to start using a 6 penny nail, which I'm not sure how long those are, but he's going to switch that out just for below the windows, just to play it safe. And I think that's about it. We cleaned up the inside, so nothing really different in here. Plumbing's all done, like I showed before, and electrical's all done. So this will be my last day here for a little while. It'll be a couple months, so you won't see too many videos. I've asked my dad to continue taking some pictures, and then I'll continue to post those. I don't know how good my dad is with a camera, so it might be kind of interesting. Alright, well that's it. One more thing, I want to talk about the wheel wells real quick. You can see this wheel well is pretty big. On the other car, or on the other trailer, it was about 1.5 inches. This one's it's about 3.5 inches. And what you don't want is water to run down the siding, land on top of this, and then it'll slowly work its way back in there. And just, you know, even though there's foam in there and it goes down the other side, you know, you don't want water getting in there. So what we'll do is we'll be using a piece of flashing. So the flashing will be a piece of metal that comes up here and then actually comes over and curves around a little bit. We'll nail it up here and then put the siding over it, and that'll actually curve around here. We'll put a couple little cuts in it so that it can curve, and then when water comes down the siding, lands on that, it'll have no place to go. It won't be able to go back in because you'll have the metal there. So that's how you kind of you do the flashing everywhere. You do the flashing on top of any flat surface. So on top of the windows, there'll be a small piece of flashing. It'll actually be on top of the windows are pretty sealed, but it'll be on top of the piece of flashing, or the piece of trim around the window, because the top of the trim is going to be flat. The top of the window is also flat, but because the way they make those, water can't work its way back in. You know, it's because there's that little flange that you use to nail the window onto the frame. All right.